So at this point, y'all have watched the video on bacteria, you have watched the video on viruses, and you have done the vocabulary from 19.1. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go over each of the words for you and go over the section of 19.1. Bear with me, I've never videoed myself teaching. So I'm going to start with the word pathogen. Everybody knows that a pathogen is based on the definition in the book, any living organism or a particle. Remember earlier in the school year we had the 9 characteristics of life. So reproduce on your own, use energy and nutrients, grow and develop. And so bacteria is a living thing because he has the characteristics of life. We also know that the smallest unit of a living thing is a cell. A bacteria being a single celled organism. Everybody remember what we call them, single cell organisms, right? Prokaryotes. Now just remember, you are not made up of prokaryotes. Your body is made up of eukaryotes. You are multicellular. So bacteria is living. So bacteria is the type of pathogen that can cause infectious disease. Now if you're on the topic of bacteria, when you need to take an antibiotic, when you have strep throat, right? Okay. Strep throat is a bacterial infection that requires antibiotics. Okay. Now, going back up to the term pathogen, a living organism or a particle. So a virus would fall under the particle that is non-living. Now, for the sake of my class, our class, we are going to say that a virus is non-living. However, in the scientific world, remember there is a great debate and discussion about actually is it living or non-living. As far as I'm concerned, it's non-living for us. Not only is it non-living, but it's technically only made up of either a DNA or RNA strand and then enclosed in a protein coat. If you go back to your bacteria, since it's single-celled, prokaryote, that means he's made up of a cell membrane, he has cytoplasm, he has ribosomes, he has genetic material, and then obviously we know that prokaryotes have a lot of other features too. They do have DNA or an RNA single strand in the center, okay? So, virus is not considered living. Let's talk about this word right here. This is a viroid. A viroid is an infectious particle that causes disease in plants, not humans. It does say in your book that they too are single-strand RNA with a protein coat. And if you remember, this could be DNA or RNA. The only thing it affects would be your plants. So obviously it would have a huge impact on our agricultural system. And the last one is a prion. It is an infectious particle. It's actually made up of only proteins, and it actually affects the proteins, causing the proteins not to be able to fold correctly. And if you remember a lot, what we talked about proteins back in the school year is the folding and how they fold is actually responsible for the job they do. So a prion would affect that. Now, it also says in your book that prions have no genetic material. They are part of certain diseases like mad cow disease, bovine spongiform. That's actually the 4 pathogens we're going to talk about today. I only want you to be familiar with these 2. This is actually what we're going to focus on in the next few days, or actually a few weeks. We're probably just going to spend a lot of time on this. I mean, what better way than to learn about what's going on in our world than actually study it, since we've kind of already started it anyways. So virus, a lot of times people think when you have a virus you need to take an antibiotic, but what do we know a virus is? The common cold, right? The flu. Can you actually take an antibiotic to get rid of a cold? No, it has to run its course. You can take medicine to kind of relieve the symptoms. So you can take something to alleviate maybe the pressure in your head. You know, the flu, we all take Tamiflu. Tamiflu helps relieve the symptoms, make it a little bit better. But nothing actually gets rid of this. This is actually, it just has to run its course. So that is why the COVID right now is so bad, is because there's actually no antibiotic for it.